I used to spend my evenings by myself, you know. Went through every number on my telephone. I thought that all I needed was someone to hold, but I was wrong. I never thought that maybe I needed a friend. You have always been there together till the end. I thought that all I needed was someone to hold, but I was wrong. Finding love ended in disaster. No such thing as happily ever after. Love ended in disaster, disaster. Now I'm free. You show me that I don't need somebody. I only need myself, now it's just me. I'm gonna be free, be free. I'm free. You show me that I don't need somebody. I only need myself, now it's just me. I'm gonna be free, be free. You're here when I need you, steady by my side. You always make me smile when things are weighing me down. We will dance together till the sunrise. We always have a good time. Finding love ended in disaster. No such thing as happily ever after. Love ended in disaster, disaster. But now I'm free. You show me that I don't need somebody. I only need myself, now it's just me. I'm gonna be free, be free. I'm free. You show me that I don't need somebody. I only need myself, now it's just me. I'm gonna be free, be free. But now I'm free. You show me that I don't need somebody. I only need myself, now it's just me.
All right, today we're going to talk about how we can find out and how much we can find out and what it takes to get there. So first we have to decide how much do we want to find out. So let's say in this case, I want to find out at a level of 7. Okay, so I find that level on my graph and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down to where it intersects with my fuck around line. That there is going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out. So I hope this lesson is helpful. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Friday podcast. I hope you are all wonderful and happy Friday to everyone except for those who are going to get their asses sued. But I hope everybody else is having a fantastic Friday, and welcome to the Friday podcast. As always, I will go ahead with the day's stories and updates, and then later on I will invite anybody who wants to come up to talk to come up to talk. However, I'm going to post the link now. So if you want to be ahead of the line, but by the time we get to that point of the podcast, um, click on the link and enter the back end now. So I'll just post that, join the live chat, and then you can join in. Welcome everyone, and thank you, mods, as always. Well, what another interesting week it's been in the royal world. Barely a few weeks out from Lizzie's passing, and it's already all going down. And I didn't actually even stop to think that this lawsuit is actually coming after Lizzie's dead. And I wonder if that was maybe always the plan. Maybe they wanted to do it afterwards. And so now, nobody can say, oh, Harry and Meghan are stressing the Queen. Elton John is stressing the Queen. Liz Hurley is stressing the Queen. That shield is now gone. So I think anyone and everyone who's ever wanted to get back at the British tabloids, stand up. Get off your knees and stand up. Now is the time. The door is open. And you've got to have everyone going in full force, strength in numbers. Otherwise, we could miss an opportunity, because I feel like even though the news of the world went down during the phone hacking scandal, it was very much just a slap on the wrist to the British press establishment, right? So I feel like this could really be our last chance to just get a grip. Put our foots on their necks and keep them down. Karen M, I've noticed that since the Queen is dead, everyone is seeing freedom is in hand. Yes, for sure. Because, Lizzie became almost bigger than the monarchy itself. And so it was very difficult um to penetrate past her. But now she's gone. Charles is a mess. Kate and William are just barely hanging on to any popularity that they have. And so, yeah, it's all going to go down. Yes, Rita, the buffer's no longer there. Right. So let's get on with some lighter and funnier stories before we get onto the more serious stuff, because there is quite a lot of serious stuff to talk about today. But let's get on to the nicer stuff. So Harry and Meghan were back outside on a date night. They went to a concert. And sorry, let me just actually try and find who was the artist. A sec. So the Sussexes attended the Santa Barbara Bowl, headlined by Jack Johnson, featuring many guests, including Paula Fuga of P-Funk Love. She's considered to be one of Hawaii's top musicians, and her music is devoted to inspiring positive social change. She was born in Hawaii, and she has worked and performed with many artists on projects such as Jack Jackson, Ben Harper, Ziggy Marley, and Damian Marley. And she actually posted a video of her showing some love to Harry and Meghan after the show. So it must have been a nice experience for her, and just great to see Harry and Meghan happy again, smiling, out and about, and back to normal life. Lovely. Archetypes also went back up the charts. I think it peaked at, was it number 4 or 5 this week? So not a bad re-entry. It's always going to be top 10. And given that this is Meghan's first project, with, that hasn't got the audience um background and volume of some of the other podcasts, that is still mighty amazing. Also, another major and amazing announcement between Archwell and the VING organization. So this is the first time I'm hearing about this organization, but must be pretty amazing if Archwell have decided to team up with them. So the press release says Archwell Foundation and Ving Project announced partnership to give $1 million to women experiencing financial hardship across the country. Partnership gives young adults the opportunity to give $1,000 in grants to women who have inspired them. So the partnership is a national giving movement designed to spread the joy of giving by inviting teens to become philanthropists in their own lives. Inspired by Archetypes, a Spotify original podcast with Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, the partnership invites young individuals between the ages of 14 and 18 to nominate a woman who has inspired them and defied life's hardships. If chosen, nominators will be given given a $1,000 grant to their nominee to make a difference in their lives. We are thrilled to team up with Archwell Foundation to share the love of VING, said the founder. It's been extraordinary to see the impact on teens across America. We share the joy of philanthropy with Archwell Foundation and are proud to help young people make a difference by giving a financial boost to others who are financially vulnerable. Sounds like the type of thing that a country going through a cost of living crisis would have needed. But it's too bad they chased away their ginger prince and his biracial wife. Anyway, the PR continues. Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, co-founder of Archwell Foundation, added, "Two things that bring me great joy are supporting women and the spirit of giving. With the return of Archetypes, Archwell Foundation and VING have come together to create the perfect combination of these loves by donating 1 million in grants to women in need. Our hope is not only to provide support where it may be felt deepest, but also empower young adults to embrace the gift of giving at an early age. I'm proud of this partnership and the good we hope to see come from it." So this is another thing that would have tied into the Sussex September. And goodness knows what else would have come out during September that is slowly going to trickle out in the months to come. So September was really going to be their launch. So that is amazing. Nominees must be US residents. Good. No one else getting that money. Non-extended or immediate family members and in need of financial assistance. So there is a form online where you go and fill it in and nominate. They say that they accept 85% of all qualified nominees that they receive. So I'm wondering if as a squad we can create something. I might actually create just like a Google maybe like a Google survey for the squad. So if there's anyone that wants to be nominated, and then we can get someone else, provided you're from the US, of course, and then maybe we can get someone else to nominate you if you're doing good things. So just a thought. Let me know if you've got any ideas on how we can, maybe help some squaddies get some of this money. And how amazing is that? Was not expecting that today. Right. Let's go to your comments before we continue. And don't forget, if you want to join the chat, link is in the chat. And if you do want to speak, enter now so that you're not waiting in line if there's a couple people who want to come up and speak. Right. Hanan, that outing was really what they needed after what they went through the last 2 weeks. Yes. Whew. It was too. I mean, we're watching from the outside, and it was exhausting. It must have been hell for them in there. Yes, it was very nice to see them out and about and looking smiley and happy. Oh, is it? Oh, okay, so it's Ving. So give it. Okay, I get it now. Thank you. I didn't get it at first. Um, welcome, everyone is coming into the chat. Um, okay, I see a troll blocked. Um, yes, Wendy, American only. American only. Yeah, Black Queen, and yet the Unroyal Mafia are sitting on billions, billions on billions, and the only thing that they want to give anyone who is in need is a smile here and there.
I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it does more than financial.
Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, they sit on billions. They just want to give you an odd smile here and there. Right. So yes, that is that. And amazing. Once again of Harry and Meghan, and I'm sure that there is more to come. Now we all remember the lady from yesterday who said to Kate's face, Ireland belongs to the Irish, and it would appear that the Daily Mail, with absolutely nothing else to do, are trying to track this woman and say, "Do you know the woman who heckled Kate today?" I mean, what does it matter? It's her democratic freedom to say what she said, and she actually said it very politely. I have to say, she didn't actually heckle her. She still shook her hand, looked her right in the face, and just said what she had to say. And didn't say anything else after that. Here's the video for those of you who missed it.
Nice to meet you. But we can better focus when you're on contact. All right, welcome to Belfast Round. Thank you. You're very welcome. Ireland belongs to the Irish.
I mean, that was honestly probably the most polite read I have ever seen. So the Daily Mail is trying to hunt her down, and quite frankly, they just need to leave her alone. Leave her alone. Wait, in other news, right, the cuts. I said yesterday, at the end of the day, these magazines, online publications, just care about one thing and one thing only: clicks. There was an article that was published by a woman called Olivia Trufant Wong, and it was titled "What's Going On with Harry and Meghan's Netflix docuseries." Now, I did not read the article because I didn't want to give it clicks, but based on the squad's reaction, they did not like the tone of the article at all. I also don't really know why this is relevant. They sound like a UK tabloid. What's going on with Harry and Meghan's Netflix docuseries? Well, what's going on is that it's in production, and when they want to release it, they'll release it and we'll see it. There's nothing going on. There's no discussion to be had about this. And yeah, they've been obsessed with this Netflix docuseries. They claimed that Harry and Meghan had a whole crew during the funeral. There was absolutely no evidence of that. And as always, unless it comes from Camp Sussex, then nothing can be verified because we know that there's no leaks anymore. And as Just Juliet said, that probably the most disappointing thing about all of this is that it was written by an Asian American woman. And this comes just after the Archetypes episode where we were talking about Asian American negative stereotypes. But unfortunately, you do get racism and discrimination even between people of color. So it's disappointing that she could not have used a whole article to talk about what was talked about in that podcast. Instead, she came out with this. But I guess the cut just can't resist, because look at the engagement on anything about Harry and Meghan on their Twitter. Usually the most engagement of any tweets or articles that they put out. One of them over 2,000 likes, the other one over 1,300 likes, 400 retweets. So they're just chasing clicks and chasing money. No one can really be trusted when it comes to um, the tabloid and online space. And yes, obviously, a platform like mine or any of the other squad platforms, yeah, we may be biased, but you know, we know what side we take. We're never going to flip flop, and unfortunately, you know, outlets like the Cut, they will flip flop depending on what serves their bottom line. Right, just go to your comments. Chief Dilly, what have I missed? You've missed all the things, hun. Welcome to the chat. Yes, Chief Dilly, odd smile here and there. Joyce, Kate went to the hospital yesterday to a maternity ward and didn't take one thing. It would have been nice if she took baskets to give to the new mothers. Exactly, and that's exactly what Meghan would have done. She would have taken baskets, maybe flowers, things for the babies, even a cake, something. But Kate just went there to hold some babies. That was it, and get some pictures with some babies. Yeah, Rita, she lives in her own country and said what she said. Yes, Daily Fail want to harass that woman like they harass everyone. Jedi, do people realize that a docuseries will take a while to produce? Sometimes, yes, exactly. They know this, but they're playing dumb. And if you look at what Harry and Meghan have out in just over 2 years since they started their production company, they have still put out a lot, and all the other things that they've been working on in between. So building an entertainment company, you know, it takes time. Yeah, the Cut's gonna be getting the cut. Exactly. Melissa, the Cut's getting the cut. Marina, she got paid and sold her soul. But how much though? I hope it was more than what Victoria Arbiter got paid. Because girlfriend only took £300 and lost her eyelashes. I mean, if you're gonna sell your soul to the devil, you know, at least you're gonna have to give me 1 year's rent minimum, and I'm renting a penthouse. But these fools are out here taking £300, losing their eyelashes. Oh my god. Black Queen, Duchess of Success. Where are the family members of the Gutter Press owners' employees? Why are they protected from bullying while others are not? Exactly. That is a very good point. You know, can you imagine if everybody in the general public decided to turn on them and their families and were like, oh, but we want to know everything about your families, about your private affairs? Because you know there's a hell of a lot of gossip there. But they protect themselves. But they're allowed to go into everybody else's business? Well, it's going to be all eyes on them now. Yeah, cheaper dilly, 300. I mean, it costs about £80 just to get a basic set of good eyelashes. And she done lost all her eyelashes for £300. Oi. Joyce, Victoria Arbiter must be writing a book too. We have not seen or heard from her for a while. Yeah, a whole book about how she lost her eyelashes. Okay, educate too. I'm actually just gonna let you into the stream now and say your 2 cents. You've got 5 minutes, my darling. you want to speak?
Yes.
Make sure your visual off, camera off,
Uh,
because you shouldn't be coming up on the screen like that when I let you into the stream. There you go.
okay. Here I am.
Fantastic.
So you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. But I was just on Twitter.
Okay.
It's a Gavin Burrows private investigating
Oh, him, yeah. I've had
that
beef with
he's
him.
part of that. He said he was part of getting that information,
Mm-hmm.
and now that he's giving it to that law firm,
Mm-hmm.
and that they had called him, the Daily Mail,
Okay.
trying to see what other information he has. That just came up this morning.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, I can't actually see Gavin Burrows' tweets because he's blocked me.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw my earlier video on this, but I very politely, I wasn't rude.
Mm-hmm.
I just said to him, because he was tweeting about this a couple of months ago. He had in his profile that he was Harry's friend.
Mm-hmm.
He's now taken that out of his profile, and I just myself and some other squaddies just politely said to him, do you know what? I don't think you should really be tweeting about some of the things that you're tweeting about. This is not usually how Harry and Meghan operate when they work with people, especially on something as sensitive as this.
Mm-hmm.
Could you please reconsider not tweeting about this case? And that seemed to get him angry, and he blocked me and several other squaddies. But thank you for bringing that up because I wouldn't have seen it otherwise.
Yeah, but he also may be compromised. So it's like, let me be the informant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like he has genuinely tried to help, and I guess
Mm-hmm.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting.
Mm.
And over here in the U.S., Fox is being sued, and the parent company.
Oh, what's this case about? Sorry, please update me.
But the voter fraud, and the company is Smartmatics and Dominion,
Okay.
and they said that they switched the votes from Trump to Biden, and even after they were proven wrong that it was all a lie, they kept saying it, and they also are suing particular journalists on Fox News because they kept saying
Right.
and said, yeah, that they are a $1 billion company and they lost billions of dollars because of the false statements. And Fox tried to get it dismissed, and the judge says no, it's going forward. They got 2 lawsuits against them. Both companies are suing for like 1.6 billion.
Wow. So on both sides of the pond, these right-wing media outlets are gonna get sued. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does Murdoch still own Fox News?
Yeah, the
He still
parent.
owns Fox News.
Yeah, they all. Yeah, they all. Now what's the son's name? Latchlin. Yeah, I think
Okay.
he's in head of it, but he's still what they own the Post, the
Yes.
Wall Street Journal,
Yes.
and a few other things. Especially the Wall Street Journal, because I used to read that in years. I mean, once that happened, it became okay. This is not even about finance anymore.
Mm.
It's like a smear campaign with all kind of little things going on. It just totally changed.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
mean, they could on both sides they could get sued into oblivion, and
Mm-hmm.
I
But they
mean
going at the journalists because they kept saying it. It's two of them
mm,
that I know of that are being personally sued also by those 2 companies.
would that be Tucker Carlson by any chance?
No, not Tucker.
Okay.
Not Tucker yet. No, Tucker's gonna get caught
Yeah.
up in the January 6th thing.
Okay. Wow,
Yeah,
so
he's gonna get caught up in that. Yeah.
it's going to be an interesting year or so for these outlets on both sides of the pond. Thank you so
Both
much
sides.
for bringing that up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Thank you.
connection because it's worldwide.
Mm,
And they have
mm,
the same strategy because you're talking about trickle down economy, and it's we had that with Reagan. That started
yes.
with, and it hasn't trickled yet.
That you haven't felt the trickle.
No, Listen, I'm a retired teacher. I made so much more money than my mom, and she had so much more than me. Like,
Mm.
how?
Mm.
You know?
Mm.
You
Well,
know,
thank you.
and I want. Oh, can I make this one comment
Go on.
about people who talk about the baby boomers? I'm a baby boomer. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm 70.
Mm-hmm.
We were the replacements for everybody all people's kids who died during World War One and the Korean War.
Mm-hmm.
The boomers created the internet that everybody's on here talking about. We went through a lot of stuff, you know, and it's for the next generation to take the baton and carry it further.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I look at it, you know. We did what
Mm-hmm.
we can do, and now the next generation has to take it to the next level,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But we were replacements. That's how many people died. Young men. If they didn't die, they were destroyed. They came back, you know, mentally handicapped. And our homeless are mostly veterans.
Yes, yes, I've heard a lot about how it's quite difficult for them to get help, and that's
Yes, especially in
awful.
Vietnam, from the Vietnam War. They just
Mm.
totally abandoned them
Mm.
because
Well,
it was actually televised, the war. People saw the atrocities and they
mm,
blamed the soldiers, and it wasn't them.
and they've now just been kind of left to the side. Well, hopefully, this
Yeah.
being the generation that is open to having difficult conversations, we can push for more help for those people. And thank you so much, Educate,
Yes. Thank
for
you.
coming up. Thank you.
Oh,
Light side of the moon, I'll let you go as well.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Welcome to the chat, hun.
Hi everyone. I hope you're doing well. And happy belated birthday to your mom.
Oh,
I
thank
hope she had a
you.
good one.
Yes, yes, she
So
did.
I jumped on a little bit late. It's been kind of busy for me, but I wanted to just comment really quickly on what the other caller was saying about the lawsuits that are coming to the front right now. The one with Dominion for Fox News, and
Mhm,
I think I saw a squatty mention yesterday about the Daily Mail, aka the Daily Fail.
mhm.
And I see that I think Harry, Elton John, and I think two others. I can't remember her name. An
Alice
actress.
Hurley.
Yeah, and there's another actress too that used to be or a model. Um, but it's really interesting because like I think Rupert Murdoch owns the Daily Mail and he
No, that's
also
that's Rothermere. That's the guy
that's
on the screen
Rothermere?
right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, both of those sources are really kind of they have a similar way of approaching certain individuals when they want to attack them, and everyone can see what has been happening with both Harry and Meghan, especially Meghan with the Daily Mail.
Mhm.
So I'm just sitting back and I'm honestly hoping that others, other celebrities or other high-ranking people who've been um, subjected to the Daily Mail's antics kind of step up also, and it becomes
Mm,
an even bigger thing because I believe there are a lot of people that work for that organization that has repeatedly put some certain things out that have just been
yes.
flagrant. And I thought I heard you mention this actually either 2 days ago, saying that there's speculation that there are recordings, secret recordings, and numerous other things that violate privacy going on with some of these people, and that's just nuts to me. That's like
Yeah.
complete violation. So we'll see what happens with that. What really triggered me today though was I saw a video clip of, I think this one of the person on the show is called Christopher Wilson, and I
Okay.
cannot remember the name of the show, but he mentioned something to the effect of possibly that the only way maybe Harry would go back to the UK is if Meghan was out of the picture.
Yes,
And
yes. That was actually Valentine Lowe and another
okay.
lady, and I'm gonna touch upon that a little bit later. But go right ahead. Mhm.
Okay, because like I don't know if I missed it and you mentioned it, but I was like, oh my gosh. I don't
Yeah.
usually get too heavily emotional on Twitter. I do, as they say with the squatties, we fire back, right? We don't really get nasty, but we'll defend and bring receipts out and whatnot. And when I saw that, in an environment that we are in right now, where words are really inflammatory, you have nut jobs out there that are really quick to
Mhm.
be like, oh, they want us to get rid of this person. I'm going to go
Mhm.
and do that. You have to be really careful about what you're saying, despite how you may feel about Harry or Meghan. Saying
Yes.
something like that is completely irresponsible. And
Yes.
I cannot imagine the stuff they say that is not on public TV, right?
Yes.
I can only imagine. I'm like, if they are so bold to have a conversation like that and to even insinuate that if she was outside of this whole scene and was no longer in the picture, disrespecting her children like she didn't bear them, but just
Yes.
really focusing on Harry. Can you imagine what's being said that we as squatties or people who support Harry and Meghan have never heard before?
Well, let me just interrupt you there because you don't actually have to imagine. Here it is on the screen. So this is the Home Office suspended a Met officer over deplorable racist WhatsApp chat, and that WhatsApp chat was full of current serving officers in the UK and also retired officers in the UK. And you can see right at the bottom there a picture of Harry and Meghan, the letters NGIGER, and um, Meghan saying it spells your name, and Harry saying also yours. So basically, ginger and the N word. And then you've
Wow.
also got another picture of a black doll being held down by a bear that's wearing a police
A
officer's
police
hat.
uniform. Yeah.
Then you've also got another image of, please keep 2 meters apart, a black child and a white parent with their white child. And at the bottom it says, quite right, probably, because they're probably carrying a blade, referring to the black child. And also a picture of a woman who's been abused with a black eye saying, my wife's just had her first jab. If she doesn't shut the F up when the football is on, she's going to get a second. So we don't have to imagine what they say privately. It's right here.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just speechless. I mean, am I shocked? I know some of this stuff happens, but it's just disgusting actually seeing it,
Mm,
and I just have no words.
mm,
I don't, you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because these are people that are meant to be in positions of authority. Can you imagine being a woman who's maybe going through domestic abuse? Maybe today was the day that you were going to pick up the phone and call the police and ask for help, and then you
exactly.
see this.
Yeah, the
Who
people
do
who are supposed to
you
be
trust?
protecting you, right?
Yes, the people that are supposed to be protecting you, the people who, if Harry gets his security, are meant to be protecting him and his family.
But isn't it interesting because it goes back to that way back when Harry was like, "I will pay for security," right?
Hmm.
I will pay for my family to be to have security, and they didn't even want him to have that opportunity. But imagine these people who are in the mix of all of this, quote unquote, protecting or being there to protect Harry and Meghan and potentially his two kids had they been there, right?
Hmm.
Knowing what we know now, I don't think any of us would want them close to any of these people, you know? There's no trust. There's absolutely no trust. And it's clear which side some of these people are on, and the fact that they feel so open to do these things and to post these things. I mean, I'm glad you explained the bear one because I didn't even understand what was going on with that. But if this is what we're dealing with, no, they're not safe at all.
No, but I do wonder with the security and it going through the courts. I wonder if that is just Harry trying to make it clear that he did try to actually fight for protection, because then they
Right.
could then turn around and do what they did to Diana and try and make it seem like, well, she didn't ask for protection, but how could she ask for protection from people that she couldn't even trust?
Exactly.
So it could be that, Harry goes through this whole court case and then maybe decides, well, I'm not going to ask for protection from them anyway. But at least he's just set it in stone that he won the court case and that he's entitled to that protection, or to pay for the protection that he wants.
Yeah, absolutely. That totally makes sense. Well,
Mm,
okay, I'm not gonna hold you up any longer. I will be listening on the line, but that's all I wanted to
mm,
say for today. I just that really triggered me. I don't like seeing stuff like that. I know they don't like her. I get that. We all understand that, but to go
mm.
that far as to
It's quite
insane,
hardcore, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. You can
yeah.
actually, because the line, not that many people have joined so far. So if you wanted to jump in, at any point, you can actually stay in the back and talk if you want, if there's anything else that you
Okay,
want to say.
okay.
All
So
right.
I'll hang out. I'll hang out then. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that.
Mhm.
Right. So with the court case now public, the Associated Press have come back and said that they um unambiguously refute these preposterous smears, which appear to be nothing more than pre-planned and orchestrated attempt to drag the Mail titles into the phone hacking scandal concerning articles up to 30 years old. So they're referring to the phone hacking scandal that brought down the news of the world. These unsubstantiated and highly defamatory claims, based on no credible evidence, appear to be simply a fishing expedition by claimants and their lawyers, some of whom have already pursued cases elsewhere. And as somebody said on Twitter, laughs in Meghan, Diana, and all the other unknown people who have been victims of the failed and tabloid smear campaign. So these cowards love to dish it out, but they can't take it. No, they can not. And for Rothermere in particular, I feel like for so long Rupert Murdoch has been, the boogeyman of the press giants, and a lot of the focus has been on him. So when Meghan named Rothermere in her winning statement, I think that very much put the Mail on notice, because most people who know at least a little bit about how the media is controlled will know Rupert Murdoch's name. They probably did not know Rothermere's name. Um, so that I'm sure that put him on notice. Also, I wanted to mention, actually let's talk about what Light Side of the Moon just touched upon. Yes, so you had Valentine Lowe and Kevin Maguire and this other lady here who were on Talk TV, and Valentine Lowe was talking about sorry, I think the lady asked what would make Harry go back, and then Valentine Lowe said, "Well, while she still has breath in her body, so while Meghan is still alive, basically, um, Harry won't be going back." And there was another guy called Wilson. I don't know what his first name is, but he had also said previously there was the hope that Harry would come back home alone, perhaps, so leave his wife and children. And then Ingrid Seward also said some time back, if there was an awful tragedy, it would bring them together. Basically saying, if something happened to Meghan, then William and Harry would come back together. And also them saying that they wanted to remove Meghan from her husband. Well, there's only two ways to remove Meghan from her husband. Either her husband divorces her or she's dead. And this is exactly why Harry said very clearly in the Me You Can't See, they are not going to stop until she's dead. I don't know how, as the public, we can push back against this. Other than petition, or because now they're just being brazen. Now they are just brazenly saying that they want this woman dead. Because how else can you explain using a term like while she still has breath in her body? Why would she not have breath in her body? What exactly do they want to happen to Meghan that she would not have breath in her body? And this is basically inciting death on a member of the royal family. And like Light Side of the Moon said, there are some crazy, crazy, crazy people out there who will look at this and listen to this and possibly do something really horrible. And they've been at this with this tone for a very long time. And I don't know. I don't know what we do about this. If anybody has any suggestions in the chat, other than just raising awareness of just how ridiculous this has become. Because these people aren't just, speaking on their own. They would not talk so brazenly like this if there was not a higher power whispering in their ear. So I'd love to know your suggestions about what exactly we can do about this, because it's just completely out of hand now. Black Queen, I don't think the racism will ever change. It's ingrained in their DNA. It's more than talk. Yeah, I think so too. Marilyn Matthews, I will let you speak, but you have to connect your device. It's saying device is not connected. So I'm gonna let Miss September speak first because she's just come into the chat, and then Marilyn, if you could sort out your device, please, I will let you speak. Hi, Miss September.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Great, thank you. Yourself, hon. Happy Friday.
I'm good. I was in the middle of washing my hair, and I saw this,
Mm.
and I saw that clip you just talked about the as long as there's breath in her body. I can't tell you. These people are making me physically ill. The way they carry on with Harry and Meghan. Why can't they just let them alone? What is it? This fixation with wanting Harry back so bad. I just don't understand. Why can't he live his life?
And
You
the
know,
thing is, the thing is, even if Harry and Meghan were for whatever reason to divorce, even if God forbid something horrible happened to Meghan, Harry's not going back. I don't know why they
that's
don't
what I
realize this.
say.
Yeah, go on. Oh, have you cut Miss September? Miss September? Okay, I'll remove her for a sec. You can come back in a moment, Miss September. I'll let Mina speak. Hi, Mina.
Oh, hey.
How are you, hon?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good, good. Welcome to the chat.
Hi. I won't be too long.
No
All I
worries.
gotta say is I knew that this was gonna come. I had a feeling that, what is it, the Daily Fail and those other reporters were gonna get sued, so I'm not surprised by that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it also goes to show us that while they're blatantly talking about Megan not being a picture anymore or want her dead, it goes to show who they really are. And I hope that many people wake up and see this and know that they basically want her gone, just like they did Diana.
Mm. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, but that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you so much, Mina. Thank you for joining the chat. Miss September, should we try you again?
Yeah, I'm back. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Like the lady was saying, I'm a baby boomer also. I'm 68 years old and I'm following Harry and Meghan. And my thing is, when he said that, a chill went through my body. And I was like, oh my goodness, these people are literally a
They're
cult.
insane.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's no other, there's no other, there's no other way to put it. They are literally a cult situation, and
Mm.
I'm just, and also I also saw on Instagram about the BBC not reporting things the way they should report them.
Yeah, there was a guy that called them out. I think I actually have. Wait, just give me a sec.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
veteran
that
David
guy.
Dimbley. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I saw that, and I thought to myself, why? Why? I mean, because here we have public television here, and the government used to subsidize their payments and everything, and then the budget was, and then they stopped subsidizing them, and then they have like people like myself, we just give them money to keep running things or whatever. And I was like, if they're a news agency, why are they doing this? I mean, they even said that they wanted Eugenie and Beatrice cut out of the funeral thing coming out of
Mm.
St. George's Chapel or something like that. It's just amazing to me. It's just, I was in England about 5 years ago. My daughter got married to a guy he's an Indian guy, but his parents lived in England. And we went to Windsor Castle, and they were talking about that crow that flies. If the crow leaves, then the monarchy falls or
Oh,
something
the
like that.
ravens from the tower.
The ravens, yeah. And then I'm thinking myself, maybe Harry's the raven. He just
Yes.
left.
Oh my God, that's so interesting.
And I thought to myself, maybe Harry's the raven,
Yeah.
because I mean, I know it sounds silly or anything like that, but I thought, because everything is starting to happen with Charles and William and it's just unbelievable. I'm so over these people. I cannot tell you. I'm so over them. It's just crazy. I mean, I
Harry
didn't have
is
that
the
much to say,
Raven.
but yeah, Harry's the Raven. That's why they want him back so bad, because they won't leave him alone. And the way they carry on, they keep going on and on. How would a man come back and you keep ragging on his wife, and doing all these crazy things? You got police officers doing what they did with the whatever they did. I mean, who would want them to protect me? And his
Mhm.
family. I mean, unbelievable. They're
Yeah.
stupid.
It's really giving Valerie, what Valerie said. It's really giving escaping Scientology.
It
That's what it's
really
giving
is.
now.
It really is. And it's just horrible. And then the last thing I want to say is, I remember when I was listening to Tina Michelle when they were podcasting all the time. And Tina was like, she thought she would give Charles a pass because he walked Meghan down the aisle and yada yada yada. But that changed completely. And I was like, that was all performative action that they were doing. They were all performing in front of the cameras.
Yeah.
They didn't want her there. They didn't even want to pay for her. They wouldn't give her. It's unbelievable.
Mm.
They're just a bunch of actors. That's all.
And now
You know.
they weaponize the hell out of that wedding now.
Didn't they though? It was
Yeah.
unbelievable. And now when I watch it, because a lot of squatties don't watch it because they know what was going on behind the scenes, from there on and everything like that. But I only watch it to just watch Harry and Meghan, the way he flirts with her while they're standing up there at the altar.
Oh yeah.
And then he
True love.
puts the ring on her finger and he winks at her, and I thought, oh, that's such a nice person. He's such a nice guy. He's never going back there. I don't care.
No.
I think if he has to sell tacos at Taco Bell, he would do that sooner. Go back to that place. I'm telling you.
But that's what they wanted for them, isn't it? They wanted them to
Yeah,
be flipping burgers at McDonald's, which is a perfectly honest job.
it's an
But
honest job.
they really just wanted them to be desperate. And actually, that woman in that clip, she actually also says, I forgot to mention this. She also says,
Yeah,
"Oh, what would it take for Harry to come crawling back, tail
with his
between his legs?"
tail between his legs.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
she says that, and then Valentine Lowe follows up with that comment about
Yeah,
breath in Meghan's body.
and I was like, oh, don't you? If you touch a hair on that child's head, I'm just saying, y'all tried it with her father when y'all wanted her to go to Mexico before the wedding to stop
Yes.
her dad from acting up, and she probably would have never been seen again.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way she said his father berated Harry. I mean, he's a grown man and you're berating a grown man like that. Charles is a mean person. He's mean. He was mean to Diana, and he's mean to his son also. So I'm just, ugh, girl. Oh, these
uh,
people. These
thank
people. Ugh.
thank you so much, Miss September. You can stick
Okay.
around.
You take care of yourself. I'm gonna go finish washing my hair. I'll listen in.
All right,
Thanks.
you gotta
Okay,
do that.
bye.
Bye. Valerie Hahn, welcome to the chat. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes. Yes, I was listening to the lady, and I remember that you said that you felt a class action would really do something for the Daily Mail. So basically, we have got a class action. The woman in the interview speaking to Valentine Lowe is Louise. I think her name is Louise Offshot or Off. I can't remember her name. She's also a girlfriend. She used to work for the Daily Mail, and she's also a girlfriend of oh gosh, the guy who was the Brexiter. I think his name is Richard. Richard, I think his name is Richard. I'm not quite sure his name, but I'll get his name. Anyway, the thing is with them, both of them, she was married. She's now divorced. She's moved in with him, and they both break up from their partners. All of them it's all about money swindling and money grabbing. And that's one of the reasons why they're obsessed. This is obsession. And what I found it very strange, why are they obsessed? And it's very strange that they're obsessed with one woman.
Yeah.
what is it about this one woman? And I don't think it's to do, I think it's on the superficial level. Yes, it's to do with race. Yes, it's to do with her American, but there must be something deeper. And I don't think I think with the royal family, I wonder if they were told or something, because I find this going after this one woman. Everybody's
Yeah.
going after, hoping for her to die. And what I've noticed is that the same thing they did that few year, I think after they got married, and you remember when they got married and then they left. After a while, they left and lived in Canada, and people kept on saying if she could die, or she die here, or she ding. Soon afterwards, or if Harry divorced her, soon afterwards, the Queen's grandson got divorced and her nephew got divorced. Not long afterwards, Caroline Flack committed suicide. And I personally feel nothing's going to happen to Harry or Meghan. But this energy you have, and you're obsessing with somebody dying. And there's always a saying, when you dig a grave, you dig a grave for yourself. You make sure, make sure you dig one for yourself. This obsession with she dying and she won't have breath in her body, they better be careful, because even Valentine Lowe, he has to be careful, because he may go out and he might not have any breath in his body. The very thing or that might happen to him. And I personally think, and I have to say, I don't think the royal family are proper royal family. I think they're a cult. It's something, because I can't see this obsession with this one woman. There is something, what is about her that you want to kill her, you want to kill him. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, I think there are just certain things that, being members of the public, like, we'll never really know, because we can speculate based on, you know, what we've seen, not just with Harry and Meghan, but, you know, going back years with the royal family. And there's a lot that we can draw, but I think you're right. There's also something a lot deeper that will just, I don't know, maybe we will come to know, but not for a very long time. But there is something here, because it's like, yeah, you're right. I agree with what you're saying.
Another thing too, do you know about Prince William of Gloucestershire? Do you know about him?
Nope, I do not know.
Right, he's the older brother of the Duke of Gloucester, the Prince Richard. He too he died at the age of 31 in a plane crash accident, because
That rings a bell. Okay, this rings a bell. Go ahead.
Because apparently he wanted to live a different life. They wanted him to work in the army, but he became a diplomat, and I think he had a relationship with a woman, older woman, and I think he broke it off. His father died or something like that. It is alleged that he dated minor, but I don't know how true that is. But he's another one who died in a plane crash when he was 31, and he was a brilliant flyer. I just noticed that they have he was fourth in line at the time, and I noticed that they seem to have a issue. If you want to live slightly different from them, and even if you go away, it's almost like
they have to bring you back. It was the same even with Fergie. I mean, she tried. She even did an interview with Oprah, and they managed to drag her back because she had nowhere to go and nothing to do.
Yes,
and they do like that. They like to keep you dependent.
Yes. And I think there's a lot of things about Prince Philip too, which is not, I don't know. Are you aware of the Perfumo scandal?
Perfumer?
Yeah, Perfumo scandal in the 1960s.
No, this doesn't ring a bell for me.
Well, apparently Prince Philip, he used to go to those parties done by Stephen Ward is the one who committed suicide, and a lot of wealthy people used to go. It is alleged royals used to take pictures or draw pictures of royals, and then he committed suicide. And it's also alleged that Prince Philip was also involved as well. There's a lot of things about this family that doesn't meet the eye. And I don't know if they were told that there's going to be a time for them, and somebody who's of, sometimes they do these oracles, but I find it very strange that you are after this one woman. And even, as I said, she can bring down the family, she can bring down the monarchy, she can bring, how is she going to?
How? Yeah. Yeah, I do agree with you. I think it's just weird the level to which they are just so obsessed with someone who I honestly just think that, and thank you so much for that, Valerie. I honestly just think that Megan came into this family just wanting to do good, and she found someone that she fell in love with that just happened to be Prince Harry, and Prince Harry also loved her. So you're right. I think, everything that's in the dark will come to light. Lottie Green, I'll let you go. And thank you so much, Valerie, for that. Lottie Green, go right ahead, dear. You gotta unmute yourself, darling. Lottie? Okay. Lottie doesn't seem to be working. So, Marilyn, have you spoken yet?
No, I haven't. Not
Okay.
today.
Go ahead, Marilyn.
Hello, how are you doing? And hello to everybody in the chat. To your point, Justice, about you're not sure what it's going to take. I mean this from the kindness position, but it's going to take, first and foremost, Brits to stand up and speak out. I'm a big believer in protest. I know it's effective in the United States. It's not perfect, but it is an effective mechanism. The Royals, I think Harry has been very deliberate about not just about who he sues. And I believe at the basis of that is the fact that he knew taking on the mail meant also taking on his family because
Yeah.
they're embedded. Look at, the brazenness. You talked about brazenness. Is it not brazen for them to keep employing people who are either current or
Yeah.
former members of the people who?
Oh, I think she's cut out. Okay, we'll wait until she comes back in. Brenda, do you want to go ahead? Brenda? Brenda, you need to unmute your mic, hun. Yeah, to what Marilyn was saying before she unfortunately cut out. Yeah, basically what's on the screen now. Prince Charles and Camilla hiring a Daily Mail executive, and now it's the Daily Mail getting sued again by Harry and other celebrities. But mere weeks after Meghan won her case against the Fail, you had Camilla with Rothermere at an event. Okay, Brenda, do you want to come in the chat now? No, she's still muted. Light Side of the Moon or Educate, did you want to add anything to the discussion before we carry on?
Hi, yeah. Wow, I was just listening to the other callers, and I had no idea about some of those incidences that happened, and it's really making me think, and actually felt a little bit of fear thinking about how deep this stuff might go,
Yeah, I'm quite surprised actually how many of you in the comments knew about that. I didn't know about that at all. But go on, Light Side.
Yeah, I was like, holy crud, this is way bigger than we probably realize. I'm just gonna say this really quickly, and it goes along with everything other people are saying, but it just reminds me really of a scripture when I think about Harry and Meghan, right? And it goes to the effect of, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And in today's world that we're living in 2022 in the United States, I think there was a statistic that came out yesterday that says that less than 50% of the US adults are unmarried. So when we see couples like Harry and Meghan, for me, I'm drawn to them because I see them being happy, I see them being genuine, and I really like that. I would like to see more of that. I know it's there's a lot that's involved with relationships, but isn't that what we want to encourage people to kind of strive for? An honest and caring relationship, someone that you have a spouse that's supportive, someone that's
Yeah.
evenly yoked with you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it that they're seeing? What is it that these people who are attacking them, who are attacking Meghan, are seeing that are driving them nuts? And the only thing I can think of, right? Because if you can't break them, if she cannot be broken and she's succeeding and she's being successful, everything that she touches hits, right? It gets attention, and we as supporters are behind it. So if you can't break that and you can't get them to come back where they need you, they'll get rid of you. The happiness that they're having and displaying, it bothers them. The success that they have, it bothers them. It bothers them even more because she is a biracial woman who came
Yeah.
into the fold of an upper echelon society, shouldn't even have been there, right? They probably thought she was not going to even get that far from when they started dating. Okay, I really deeply
Yes.
believe that.
Oh
She
yes,
wasn't.
actually, straight away, it was Dickie Arbiter, the Queen's former communications secretary, that said she's just a fling, and he said it again on a second occasion much later. So yeah, and that's the Queen's former secretary. Then yeah, you
Yeah,
can bet that that's what they thought.
yeah. I mean, and so what is she still doing here? Right?
Mm,
So what do? We bring out the brigade, the mercenaries, in the form of media and everyone, and I mean, it seems like everyone is finding a reason to attack this woman,
yeah,
right? For the slightest and most ridiculous thing. And I think all of us are seeing it. It doesn't make sense. And what is it that she's doing that's so wrong? Is it really that they want Harry back that badly? And they, at this point, they're being blatant and saying that we want to get rid of her, right?
mm,
Is it really that deep? It just really doesn't make sense. And I think it what is really getting onto their skin is it reminds me of when you are that person who, everyone didn't expect you to achieve like the highest pillar, and you get there and they're like, what are you doing here? You don't belong here, right? You don't have the money that we have. You don't have the connections that we have. You should not, you have no right being here. That's
yes.
what this feels like, you know?
I,
She's
I
broken through
also
something.
I
Yeah, I'm
also
sorry.
think, and I've said this about, Harry as a man. I feel like society has kind of normalized this idea of if you are a very rich, privileged and powerful man, there's almost like this expectation. Well, of course he's going to have a mistress or two or a groupie or two, and to
Mhm.
see a man like Harry who is so, openly loving. Um, Towards his wife. He loves her out loud. You can see that he's very committed. I do think it makes certain people feel a certain way, who feel that, if
Mhm.
you're a man of a certain, position, you can just kind of do whatever you want, have women and side chicks on the side. Certainly in Harry's family, that's definitely a tradition. But also, I mean, if you look at that slide, right, with Valentine Lowe, that lady, and Kevin Maguire, look at who's in the corner. That's a picture of Andrew Tate, who is the internet's favorite misogynist right now, who is a rape apologist. So I think the attacks that are being levied towards Meghan, I don't think we can ignore that this is with a backdrop where there is this almost kind of like renewed sense of misogyny in society being pushed by the likes of Andrew Tate and being platformed by the likes of Talk TV. I mean, why are you giving a rape apologist a platform to speak on? And it's the same platform where day in, day out, they attack Meghan. So, like I always say with the situation with Harry and Meghan, the conversation is so much wider, much bigger than just those two and the royal family. I think Harry and Meghan represent something a lot larger about what's going on in society. I just feel about that light side.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And of course, I don't think we all completely understand all of it, but I think we're getting crumbs. We're getting little bits and pieces, and I think these conversations help us to connect things together. And going back to what you said earlier, it reminded me of a post I saw, or a video, that Angela Levin, I believe that's her name. I think she really hates Megan.
Yes,
But
it goes without saying.
she does, right? But she made a comment saying that Megan was the one controlling Harry. And I remember another commentator on the show, on the panel, said, well, hold up. Why is it that, Meghan is the one that's controlling him? Why is it that Harry is a grown man? He can make his own decisions. He can choose to do what he wants. It's that it goes back to the dragon lady conversation, right? With the Asian woman, that they have the stereotype for Black women or someone who's a woman of color. They have to be the one that's the dominant one. She must be doing something must have cast a spell on this person to be controlling
Yes.
them. Like,
Yes.
really, come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's never because you share the same values, because you're a woman who's educated, because you're a woman who's accomplished. No, they never want you because of that. It's because you're this exotic creature that
Right.
has lured the white man into your cave. And talk to any Black woman. I've
Mm.
experienced this, who's dated a
And
white man, and it is very much that. Go on.
right, yeah. And also, like, forget the possibility that he might actually love her and respect her, right? I mean, of course, that's ridiculous. Come on. They choose to default to the most nefarious excuses to justify the stuff that they say about Meghan, and it's just disgusting.
Mm, mm. All right, thank you so much for that, light side.
All right, thank you.
Rita,
Yeah.
I can hear you, darling. Go right ahead. Hello, Rita. Rita. Okay.
Me? Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. Go right ahead.
Yeah, good. Okay. So I have a few things. The other lady was saying something about something deeper, going on. That why the royal family is so obsessed with Meghan. I think number one, they really admire her secretly.
Mm-hmm.
They really admire her secretly because she's everything that Kate is not. She's everything that Kate is not. They wish she was very eloquent, like the way Meghan is, and everything, her work ethics. They themselves, they know how. They don't like the way Kate really goes about her stuff. That's number one. Number two, they were really I think they are shocked that Harry really left. I don't think they thought that Harry would ever leave, right? What do you
Mm.
think? I think that they're
No.
really shocked that Harry left because they thought that maybe after all this they'll do this, and then maybe Harry will say Meghan should go to US, and then he will stay there and then work and come over. I don't think they even expected that Harry would ever leave. What do you think? Do you agree with me? I think that's what it is.
Yeah, they didn't expect him to leave because
No.
I can't remember who said it. I think it was Omid. Don't quote me on this, but it was one of the royal reporters said that he had a conversation with an insider in the palace, who basically said to him, "Oh, there's no way that Harry can survive without all of this." Basically, pointing to the walls of Buckingham Palace, saying, "There's no way he can survive with all of this." So that would suggest to me that they really do believe, people in this institution, that the world evolves around them, and I guess to a certain degree,
It
it
does, yeah.
it kind of does, but it doesn't mean that you can't survive outside of the institution in this modern era. And Harry and Meghan are proving that you can. And so yes, I don't think they ever did expect him to leave because they probably thought, well, how is he going to survive? And he's proven, well, he's shown exactly how that is. Oh, has she knocked out? Has my guest knocked out? Rita?
I can hear you. Can you
Oh,
hear me?
oh no, I can hear you now. Go right ahead.
Yeah, and also, I think Harry wanted to leave already, and Meghan is his gateway, because if you watch some of the videos that Harry talked about, work and the way he doesn't like all these attention, all that kind of stuff. I think he himself had already made up his mind. He wanted out, but all those girls that he dated, they all couldn't handle the press like the way
Mm.
they did, right? I think they were all very young kids at that time. The girl who plays Queen Victoria on TV, what's her name? I don't know. And do you know her name? She plays Queen Victoria on TV, and then Cressida Bonas or all those girls. I don't think they could have handled all these things with um the way things were gonna. I don't think they would have even stayed with Harry. They would have left. They won't be able to
No.
even stay. So Meghan is more mature. Meghan is more stronger, and Harry found his soulmate in him, as he said, is very, very true. And I'm telling you, if there should be any fallout between those two, Harry is the one who's going to lose a lot, not Meghan. Meghan can stand on her feet.
Yeah.
Harry's the one who's going to really, really lose. He's going to be a mess. Even might even decide even not to even want to live anymore, and that'll be the end of it. Believe me, that's the way I see it. Anyway, and another one, I'm saying that this one, the Elizabeth didn't do well at all before she left with the press. That's one thing I'm not really happy about it, because Queen Elizabeth could have done a lot to stop the press about the way they were treating Harry's wife, or even any other person in the press. What do you think? Was it Elizabeth's way of, like, because she the I felt like she felt that England.
Oh, Rita, I think you've cut there again. Rita? Well, to
Hello,
answer,
can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you now. So
Yeah,
you're asking, could the Queen have stopped all of this? Is that what you're
yeah.
asking?
The Queen could
Mm.
have done stop all this. She could have done just one phone call, and all these things. At least some of it would have gone down, or just even for the sake of her grandchild. That one, Elizabeth didn't do much at all. For me, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
And to be honest, I don't know either. I can't answer that question because
Yeah,
we can say we can ask, well, why didn't Lizzie do more? But as far
yeah.
as Harry has always said, he loved his grandmother. That is his commander in chief.
Mm-hmm,
Meghan herself made it very clear that she liked the Queen and had respect for the Queen. So I think that's one thing that we're never really going to know the answer to that
mm-hmm,
question unless
mm-hmm.
Harry and Meghan answer that question themselves. Why didn't the Queen do more? And could she have um, done more? And why didn't she do more? I don't think we'll ever really know the answer to that question
Okay.
because it's one that everybody wants answered. Because if
Yeah,
she had done something when she was alive, it could have really stopped the press. And now that she's gone, they're still continuing.
yeah. And to the last thing before I leave, about the threats to Megan's life, I was saying that we need to research into how to make this more public, right? Especially in the US, or also, appeal to certain stations in the US to project this to become more. I remember when Tina and Michelle were on, they were able to put some things in places. Even they shut CNN down, they shut some places down, that they weren't even able to report anything, or even able to interview Victoria Arbiter. If you remember, I don't know if any of us
Mm,
remember on this screen.
yeah, I
We
remember.
all signed up. We all signed up. I mean, I'm in Canada, but I even went on CBS website. I did the sign up. I went to CNN. I signed up. There was a lot. They did a lot. I don't know how they did it, but they sent us the link, and we did it all. And then Victoria Arbiter was just shut down. He never went. She was not able to go on anymore. Something happened. I don't remember. But those two, they were blatantly so bold. They did so much that that's what I'm saying. Like, we could research into something that we can be able to project this information more out there for people to see the threats that they are saying about Mega. Because right now the media, social media is huge. It's a very big factor in spreading news, right? So we can do that. How are we going to do that? We might have to find or research about it and find the ways and means to project this information more out there. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I do also think that a lot of it is also about timing. And
Yeah, I
now
agree.
that this court case with the Daily Felt is going through,
Mm-hmm.
I do also wonder if there's a lot of international news organizations that are gonna finally start speaking up a lot more about the British press.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I think as this court case continues, and for sure when it concludes, and I do believe that the claimants will win, that would be the perfect opportunity to pounce.
To
But
pounce on
yeah,
them.
but it's not just about getting together to do something. It's also
Yeah.
about the timing in which
Yeah.
you do it is also important. But thank you so much
Oh,
for your
thank you.
contribution, son.
Thank you.
Tony, I will let you on, but you need to switch off your camera, hun. You switch off your camera. So Nelisa, I'll let you on now. Hi, Nelisa.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Squaddies, everyone.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking like another thing that I always say with the thing about Meghan is that it messes up their narrative about white power and blacks being inferior. So now if they have this biracial woman who is succeeding in things, it makes them like, now what is the narrative we are telling people, that because they've always wanted whiter than white in the royal family in all those high places. So now when we have this person, because we say we couldn't have those people because those people like blacks and like people of color, they cannot perform in anything. So now when she comes and she is better, it makes it like it breaks their narrative. So now what narrative they're gonna sell on people when they say like, that's why we don't put these people in high place. Remember also in the royal family they had that thing that they cannot put in people of color in office spaces. They can work only as cleaners or whatever. So now all of that.
Oh, Nelisa, you're cutting. Nelisa? Okay, I think
I think I'm cutting.
Okay, no, go on. I can hear you now. I can hear you
Okay.
now. Go on.
Yeah, I was just saying like I believe it because it messes with their narrative about people of
Yeah.
color.
Of course. Of course.
That's
'Cause
why
we
I'm saying like
should-
it's the
yeah, we should never be on equal footing. Yeah.
and we cannot perform well when we're in those spaces. So now when Meghan performs well, what else they can say about people of color?
Exactly.
No, she's bringing a different narrative now.
Thank you so. Nelisa, where are you from?
I'm from South Africa.
From South Africa. And what's the general coverage about Harry and Meghan like there? Is it generally positive, negative, in between?
The
Do the
general
royals really get covered at
another
all?
thing, they get covered, but not like they were not that much concentrated on royal family and everything else like that. It's just what all those things they will say that, but what you could hear most of if there's something that is going to happen, like for instance, if like everyone is like, oh, Harry and Meghan podcast, they'll cover it, and usually they won't have too much of opinions because as naturally in South Africa, the majority is black people, so they will watch the steps on how they cover the whole thing. Like for instance, with the Nelson Mandela speech, people were happy, like in the radios and everything. They covered it positively. Mostly, they cover them positively, or they just don't have any opinions about anyone. They'll just say this is happening, and then that's it.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So it's usually never negative at all.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Lanisa. Lottie, I can see you. See you in the chat saying you wanted to come on. Welcome to the chat.
Comb my hair all day.
Sorry? What did you say? Go ahead. Lottie?
Yes. Hi.
Hi, I can hear you now. Go on.
You can hear me?
Yes.
I just got one thing to say, Ann.
Go on.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay, I just got one thing to say. Do these people realize if they should hurt Meghan, Harry would never be any more good? He hadn't even gotten over his mother.
Mm.
Do they realize that? They might as well kill him too.
Well, it's at the point now where it's actually just it's getting it's really worrying. Like it's getting dark, and I don't know. That's why I had this podcast, because I don't know what can be done. I'm sure on Harry and Meghan's side and with their lawyers, they've got something um going on, but to consistently hear the way they talk, now it's getting to the point where it is it's triggering. It's really, really
It's
triggering,
getting
and
out of hand.
they shouldn't be allowed to be able to just say these things so flippantly. And yeah, I don't know, Lottie Green. It's scary.
It's scary, and it's really getting scary. I pray to God that they would be okay.
Thank you so much, Lottie. Um, Tony, 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 can you hear me? Hello,
Hello,
Tony. Yeah, I
can
can
you
hear
hear me?
you now. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just a quick one. I just wanted, like, if you study history about the monarchy, they thrive on popularity, and
Hmm.
anything that threatens that begins to threaten their relevance. So you can see
Mm,
that throughout history, anybody that tends to stand out, there's an issue with that person. The life of
mm,
Diana, we've not really learned the true lessons of why she was eliminated, because she
mm.
was becoming popular than even the queen. So they see that as a threat. And the mistake about the monarchy, it reminds me of this story that we heard when we were kids about the emperor's new clothes. Once
Yes.
people begin to point out that the emperor is naked,
Yes.
everybody becomes awakened to the fact that, okay, what is the relevance of this group of people in today's modern society? And that's what they always fear, that if somebody gets popular, then they're beginning to encroach on their patch, and therefore their relevance begins to be questioned.
Yes.
And so they will do anything to protect that. So
Mm,
whoever is popular, they will either find a way to demonize it. So they'll use. Uh, I tend to listen to people say, "Oh, palate insiders, royal sources, all these are faceless beings that they use to create stories." When Meghan was here during the Queen's funeral, you never heard a single word coming from Meghan. These journalists, these royal sources, these palace insiders create a story. Harry is having fits, Harry is having this, and then they generate the news, and everybody starts talking about these things that are generated behind closed doors. When Harry and
mm.
Meghan were here, they behaved impeccably. They were respectful. They
Yes.
did everything that was asked of them. But the media was just in this state of frenzy, finding every little tiny story about them and becoming a national news all over.
Mm.
And that's the only way they
Oh, Tony, I think you've cut.
can.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I can hear you now. Tony? Okay, Tony seems to have gone off, but I 100% agree with what you're saying, Tony. They wanted to create a frenzy, and I guess they realized that after this, Harry and Meghan probably aren't going to come back for a very long time. So they kind of had to make it a frenzy, because they had to make all the money that they could possibly make before Harry and Meghan go back. But I didn't really have anything else to say myself. So anyone who is still in the chat, I will let you go ahead and speak. Only other thing I want to mention was um Paul, is it De Cray, who is part of the Daily Mail. there are now calls for his peerage to be delayed. So Labour MP Chris Bryant questioned the timing while the Daily Mail publisher faces legal action. In the Guardian article, it said the peerage due to be awarded to Paul de Creye, the former editor of the Daily Mail, should be delayed during the legal action being taken against its publisher over alleged intrusion into privacy. I mean, the fact that he's going to be given a peerage, like, it says a lot, right? Bryant, who formerly chaired Parliament's Media Committee, questioned whether it was appropriate for him to be handed a peerage by a Liz Truss government, which is likely to be done within days. I'm wondering if they're even rushing, if they want to rush to do this because it will maybe offer him some kind of protections. I don't know. He added, I don't think that man should be allowed anywhere near the House of Lords. He has already poisoned the well of British politics quite enough. And with that, that is all I personally have to say today. I did have a couple more slides, but I think we can actually go over them tomorrow. I would just rather finish by letting you speak if you had anything else to say. So I'm going to go down the line and I'm going to give you each like 5 minutes tops, and then we're going to finish there. Nobody else is allowed to join the chat, please. So Joyce, if you want to say anything, if you want to unmute your mic. Oh, sorry, not Joyce. Sorry, Jane. Jay, not Joyce. Jay? Jay Bird?
Jay Bird.
Yes. Sorry, I don't know why I called
Okay.
you Joyce. Go ahead.
I thought you were
It's a
speaking of something
Friday.
else.
It's a Friday and I'm still sore
Oh,
from judo.
absolutely. Congrats on that. I saw the chat last night, and I was just like, look, she's there, but she's small, but her aura is very big. I loved it. Congrats
Thank
to you.
you. Thank you.
I really feel you when you say, what is happening? Like, why is it getting so dark? How can people, just say stuff like this? It's so upsetting. And I don't know. I have to, take it in waves and whatever. But one thing I was doing was noticing like a lot of the numbers of the squad and of people who don't support Harry and Meghan, and the numbers are just so tremendously off balance. It's very weird when you look at like subscribers and views and things like that. It makes me ask, are those numbers real? Like, do that many people really believe such garbage?
So, yeah, to your point, sorry, before you go on, there has been a lot of talk about how much actually a lot of this hatred is manufactured and automated. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that a couple of maybe like 2 months ago, I launched a website that was going to be about travel. Now I've kind of like rebranded that, and it's now going to be under a different name. I'll talk about that on in another time. But I'm bringing it up because I started a Twitter for that page, and one of the first group of tweets that I put out were tweets that were quotes by Meghan, and they were public. It was a series of 14 tweets, and in every single one of the tweets, I tagged it with Meghan Markle. Within hours, I probably had about 50 to 60 accounts attacking that thread, and a number of those accounts looked like bot accounts. They did not look like authentic accounts, and they were probably targeting the hashtag Meghan Markle. So I do think that there is something quite nefarious going on with social media and automated bots. I know that Christopher Boozy has, looked into this, and he's really been someone that's, been pushing forward with trying to understand what's going on with social media. But I feel like
I
it's
have to
really
ask you
only the
something
surface.
about him. There's something going on with him, but continue.
I don't know anything about that, and I won't.
I don't want to.
Speculate.
I didn't even want to mention it up, but you mentioned that name, and I just say protect yourself. But continue, please.
But yeah, within like hours, my entire thread was just attacked I've actually kept it up because I don't want to delete any of the comments yet because I kind of want it to stand
Hmm.
for now because I'm going to be monitoring that thread. But just to link it back to what you're saying, you do have to wonder all of these channels, are the subscriber counts legit and genuine? Um, is it really that many people, or are the views, the clicks, the comments, are they kind of being generated by some nefarious agency somewhere?
Some farm somewhere, right? Like it's just but then then you see the hope when in real time people are calling out like all this foolishness, like people you never thought would call it out, like, oh, okay, well maybe we aren't alone, because it feels very
Yeah.
isolating. It's like it's a David and Goliath. Clearly it's a David and Goliath type of situation. Meghan and Harry have done no wrong. I'm sorry, I don't mean to yell. They haven't done anything wrong to anyone except try to live their life. And that is so incredibly offensive to people. It makes you think that you can't live your life because you can't if you say something about them. It's it's frustrating because we take it personally because this isn't just isolated to them. It's everyday life. People are treated this way, and it's
Yes.
okay. It's okay because it's not been called out in these very public forums where you can talk the kind of crazy talk uh, about a public figure that you don't know. So that means you can say it to someone, without any kind of recourse. It's very frustrating. I don't know how much time I had left, but I had just one more
Go
point to
on.
make. And I was thinking, like, there's Andrew and there's Harry. And we saw that dichotomy and how one seems, you know, one is very honorable, one is incredibly not.
Mhm.
And you just saw that kind of tortured, microaggression after another. And it's just like you're trying so difficult to be, you're trying so hard to be ridiculous. We can see it.
Yeah.
But I think the difference that helps me understand a little bit of that is that Andrew kept his mouth shut. He never said anything bad about the monarchy. Harry, and Lord forbid, the actress, the glamorous biracial woman from America, we invited her in and we took a risk and she opened her mouth. That is the only difference between the two. And I mean, even when you boil it down to like an NDA or something like that, if you speak out, they can do whatever they want to you. And it's almost like what they did. They're doing anything that they want to Harry and Meghan, who've done nothing but speak out. And they, Andrew got a $12 million, check that could have lit
Yeah.
quite a few homes. So it's just, I don't know. I have to try to find some kind of something that gets me some kind of logic about the situation because none of it makes any sense. And, you know, I'm going to come back and be real corny and say thank you again for what you do because you do, just being here and I don't get a chance to get into the chats a lot, but I mean, it's just clear that there's, it's helpful to have like-minded people who we see and appreciate what Harry and Meghan are doing. And that support is important because it is, the more Davids we get together, Goliath is gonna, have to listen at the very least. So that's all I have to say today. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you so much, Jay Bird, for coming on. And to what you said, I think that one has to also remember that for a lot of people in the UK, they have grown up with a lifetime of programming and being told what to think and how to think about the royals by big press giants like the Daily Mail. And a couple of months, when was this? Oh no, back in July when I was in Portugal. I actually met a royalist who loves the United Kingdom so much he moved to Dubai, but he was a huge royalist, and everything that he was saying to me about the royals was everything that I've ever heard scripted by the media and by individual royal reporters. Literally everything he said, word for word. And so a lot of them who are very supportive of the royals and who are very anti Harry and Meghan, they're literally not even thinking for themselves. They're just thinking what the press has told them to think. And one of the things that he said to me was, I just don't understand, what Harry and Meghan are doing about this half in, half out. And I said to him, you don't understand why two grown adults would want to pay their own bills. What part of that do you not understand? But he was just reading off a script, so he wasn't even thinking about how ridiculous he sounded. And I think that's also, it's just to help those of you who maybe don't live in the UK to be less frustrated. Just remember that a lot of these people are just operating from a place of being programmed all of their lives, and some of them we're just never going to get through to them. So there's no need to stress yourself. Um, okay, Educate. Did you want to say some last words?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Ivy Burrows had I watched the other day about the Duke of Sussex and when it was last used,
Okay.
and that
Oh, the
that
original
same,
Duke of Sussex. Yes.
yeah, the other Duke of Sussex who married without the permission of the crown. The
Yes.
marriage was annulled, and then he did it a second time, and then he was like kicked out. Like, and they gave Harry the same title.
Yeah. He was also the original Duke of Sussex. He was an abolitionist, right? He was
Yes.
quite vocally anti-slavery. Yeah.
And it goes back to he goes back to Queen Charlotte line,
Mm.
because it's the whole channel with with all the family trees. But he actually goes back to one of the descendants of Queen Charlotte. But it's
Right.
like you give these symbolic titles,
Yeah.
and they all have meaning. And it's like, oh, right, you're going to be banished, or this is going to happen, and like their children were erased from the royal family.
Mhm.
Down the line, they were just erased. And it's nothing happens, in a vacuum.
Yes.
And as far as Britain is concerned, well, Shakespeare, he said it all with the play Richard III. He killed his nephews. He killed his brother. He did, that's what they do. And they've been doing this for thousands of years. And if you've been subjected to there's a book called The Willie Lynch Letters that was used in slavery from Barbados. And how do
Okay.
you create a slave for 1,000 years? And to me, that the British people have become slaves.
I mean, how do you sit there while you've got a family who's the biggest welfare recipient? And actually, I didn't put the slide up during the chat, but now that you've said that, I might as well put it up. You've got homes facing power cuts in the winter. Now they were actually considering, get this, a campaign where they were going to try and get people to reduce their energy use
Yeah, for
as
6
much
months,
as
right? To
possible.
go through the
Yeah.
winter.
And I mean, this is like, how is this happening in the UK while wholesale gas prices are down? Your energy bill has gone up, and they're still trying to tell you, oh, make sure you light a candle, please, instead of putting
Yeah.
the lights on.
Yeah,
Like,
but
how?
I'm just, like looking from the outside in, as far like the United States and how we were educated, especially 50s and the 60s. It's like, well, that's what they did to the peasants and the serfs.
Yes.
They starved and they lived good.
Hmm.
And it's like they,
Oh, Educate, you. I think you cut. All right. Thank you so much for your point was very, very valid, and you're right. Thank you so much for that. Okay, I'm gonna do Daphne next. Now, Terry, Jay, and Tony, there's something wrong with your devices. So you have to sort out the connection. But if you don't manage to sort out your connection, I'm gonna end on Daphne. So you've got until Daphne finishes to sort out your connection. Daphne, go right ahead, hun.
Hi,
Was it
how are
Daphne?
you?
Sorry, is it Daphne or Daphne? Daphne?
Daphne.
Yes, Daphne.
Daphne,
Sorry.
an old English name.
Lovely.
Hi, everybody. You know what? I just wanted to throw something in for you. I'm playing a devil's advocate with you all.
Mhm.
Nostradamus made a prediction about the royal family, okay?
Yes.
And I believe that that prediction is a big issue for them right now.
Please explain it for those who don't know what the prediction was. Hello? Oh gosh, people keep cutting. No, that was so interesting what you were about to say, Daphne. Please come back on. Okay, Daphne. I'm gonna go to Tony, but please stay because that was really interesting what you were about to say. I'm gonna come back to you. Okay. Um. Okay,
Can
Tony,
you hear
you
me?
go.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, they're trying to wipe Meghan's digital image by creating stories and imprinting it in the minds of people. If you ask people why they actually hate Meghan, it's they don't really have any reason for hating her apart
Yes.
from being herself.
Yes.
And before they left the royal family, they didn't want to leave. They wanted to have a situation where they can be supportive of the monarchy in whatever way they can, but they want to have their own financial freedom. It was the firm that closed the door and said, "You can't have it that way. You are either in or you are either out, either out." They never said they wanted privacy. It was the newspapers that generated this story that they want to be private people. There was nowhere that Harry and Meghan uttered that word to say they wanted privacy. It was the press that made it a story, and they continue to do so. So each time Meghan and Harry show themselves off, they go on this narrative that these people wanted privacy, and never said that. Never in any of their utterances have they ushered this way. So it's just a way of just trying to wipe them out of the system. They've managed to get them out of the family because they were becoming more popular, and they've achieved that. Now, how can they knock them further so they become irrelevant? And that's what they are doing with them now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's be that's a very good point, Antonio. But let's be very clear about what privacy is. Privacy is your right to share what it is that you would like to share with the public without
Yeah. In your own
you know
terms, yeah.
yeah, but without being in without the press invading on your private life. So for
Sure.
example, if Piers Morgan's wife wants to write an article about why she's taking 6 weeks break from her annoying husband, she has the right to do that. I
Exactly.
then don't have the right to start hacking her phone.
Yeah.
So they know exactly what privacy means. They
But
just
the thing
want
is,
to use that as a weapon.
it's also to have control, because once within the royal household, they didn't have any control of what goes out. Because if the courtiers, the so-called courtiers and palace insiders and sources start releasing stuff, is beyond their control, and they have to work through their private secretaries to get stories straightened, or they have to issue warnings to the press to call off the dogs and things like that. So if they choose to ignore that, every lie that was being perpetrated against this couple will continue, and they didn't have any control. Now, being outside of the family, they have the power to also change the narrative. Like, they can use their podcast to correct stuff. They can use their docu series to correct stuff. And I know there are things that probably will be very damaging to Charles. That even Harry, he's saying that, okay, I need to protect my father, and he's trying to change things about um, the docu series. But the press are seeing it in a negative light, as if like Harry is rather in trouble. But if those things go forward, it's King Charles that's going to look bad.
Yeah.
His reputation is going down the drain, and Camilla would not. If somebody close to the king and queen start to tell the true character and nature of the king and queen, I mean, it's like exposing the emperor being naked in front of
Yeah.
the subjects. And that's what Harry is realizing now, and is making every effort to protect his father. But the press are spinning it in an
Oh, I think Tony's gone. But yes, Tony, the press are always going to spin it in a way that tries to make Harry and Meghan look bad. So I'm gonna do Arnold and then Terry J, if you could sort out your connection, and then we're gonna end it there. But thank you so much, Tony. Thank you, everyone else as well. Okay, Arnold, hello, hello. How are you, sir? Are you feeling better?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Good to
My
hear.
left side still isn't up to par, but I'm getting there.
Oh, thank you so much for calling in today. Lovely to
Okay,
hear your voice.
I'm not going to be long. I just wanted to say that everybody should go back and read the Queen's original statement when it was announced that they were stepping back. In there, she gave her blessings and said she understood why they needed to leave. So whenever these people start talking this stuff about, oh, the queen was disappointed and the queen did this and she was mad about that, point that out. Show them that. She understood. She gave them their blessing. She said she was okay with it. That cut out a lot of that noise.
Yeah.
But that's all I had to say. Just had to get my
All right.
little 2 cents in and I'm out.
All right. Thank you so much, Arnold. Hope you do
All
feel
right.
better.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Um, oh, Rahini, conspiracy theory. The firm got mad they did not have control of Meghan's money, which she earned before. This is a very good point. Because she did have her own money, and I'm wondering, how they felt about that, because obviously one of the things they don't like is people having any amount of independence. So would she have been allowed, to spend her own money to perhaps, reinvest that money, keep it in some kind of investment portfolio? That's a very good question also. I mean, if they were taking her passport and her driving license, would they have allowed her to be spending, investing at least her own money? That's a very good question. And to what extent would they be allowed to control that money? All right, the last person decided to just leave the chat, so I'm not going to take any more callers, I'm afraid, for today. You can have to wait until next week. I'm just going to end with your comments. Oh, thank you so much, everyone. Oh, Wendy Lohman, and bring back the Nostradamus caller. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, there was a French philosopher called Nostradamus who predicted that the Queen would die in 2022, which she did, and that Charles would abdicate or not be king for very long, and that Prince Harry would end up being the king. So, these people are very suspicious, and as the other caller said, it's almost as if Harry is the Raven. And they really do believe in these things, to the point where I believe the ravens at the tower had their wings clipped so they don't go too far, so they can't migrate. So, given that these people are very suspicious, that they are very ceremonial, I mean, you saw at the end of the Queen's funeral, the guy, he broke the wand to, basically signify the end of the Queen's reign. They really do believe in these suspicious things. And could they be shaking in their boots at what it was that Nostradamus said? I've just got an article about what he said here. I might actually do a whole separate video explaining this in more detail, but just an overview. French philosopher Nostradamus has predicted many things in the past. Actually, 70% of his prophecies have ended up being true, including the eerie prediction that Queen Elizabeth II would die in 2022, 5 years short of her mother's age of death at 96. Now, some new claims have come to light based on loose interpretations of the French philosopher's work from 1555, which suggests King Charles will abdicate the throne, but Prince William won't be the one to take the reins over for the royal family. Okay, so according to Mario Redding, who wrote a book in 2005 on Nostradamus, his interpretation of his writing suggests that Charles would end up giving the throne to Harry when he stepped down. In his book Nostradamus: Complete Prophecies for the Future, he predicts a man will replace him who never expected to be king. So that's the prophecy. A man will replace him who never expected to be king. And Harry has said himself, he had no interest in ever being king. So people have then interpreted that as, well, does that mean that Prince William, who should have expected to be king, will not be king, and that it will be passed on to Prince Harry instead? So that is how the prophecy has been predicted, and I guess we'll see. I mean, Charles isn't exactly off to a good start, is he? So maybe Nostradamus is right about that. All right. Let's get through your comments and then we'll call it a day. But yeah, very weird. Light side, I hope that caller comes back. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what he predicted. But I mean, I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are. Say Nostradamus was right and William doesn't get to be king and it has to go to Harry. What do you think that Harry would do? Do you think that Harry would reign as king? Do you think that he would call for the abolition of monarchy but keep the ceremonious traditions going, but just call for the abolition of monarchy? Do you think that he would try to reinvent monarchy and be king? I mean, it's an interesting thing to contemplate. What do you think? Pamela, talking about that whole Cake Morgan, did anyone see that interview that he did with Andrew Tate? Andrew Tate just destroyed it. Well, I mean, I hate absolutely both of those men, so they can go destroy each other and just disappear off the face of the earth. Like, yeah, a misogynist arguing with a misogynist over what? How much one hates women more than the other? Uh, um, Cynthia, could it be that the Queen was the mastermind behind Harry and Meghan's escape? Maybe she knew Harry and Meghan had no place there, and she said, "Get going." I don't know. Well, we may never know. I hope one day we do, because there's a lot of questions that needs to be answered. But for now, we can only speculate. Joyce, Meghan's money is also something I've been thinking about too. Yes. Yeah, because there's no one that's ever really come into that family that had their own wealth. Even Kate, she had her family's wealth, but she never actually worked. I mean, Harry would be an excellent king. For sure he would. But does he want to be king? And what would he do with the monarchy if he was king? Wendy, no, thank you. Thank you all so much, as always, for coming and supporting. Thank you so much, Doris. Oh, I think this is the first time we've had a 2-hour podcast in a while. Benjamin, unless William got caught in a scandal. What scandal would that be? Has he been running through some rose bushes in the gardens of Norfolk? Bernie, you think he'd abdicate? Yeah, because okay, let's just say all of that happened within the span of the next 2-3 years. George is still a kid. Now, mind you, I do believe that the United Kingdom did actually have a king that was a kid at some point. But in this modern era, that's not going to fly. It's not going to fly having 9-10-year-old George being king. So, yeah, be interesting turn of events for the United Kingdom if that happened. Caldi, you think that Harry would get rid of the monarchy and give the stolen jewels back to the country? Harry would dismantle it piece by piece. He would abolish it or make drastic changes. Rahina, you think Harry would be a great king who loves the people? But we've got to remember that the crown. There's the monarchy, what we see, right, and then there's the crown, the tax havens, the hundreds of millions of acres of land that they own. There's all of that as well. So how much control would Harry even have if that was to actually happen? So many questions need answering. Yes, Doris, a lot of food for thought, right? Benjamin, Diana called him Good King Harry. Maybe she heard about the prophecy as well. Thank you so much, Pamela, Melissa Davis, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Marcia, you think that George would be king and then Harry would step in to guide him? Maybe. Nelly, you think that Charles' reign would last only 4 years? Why 4 years? Oh, I'm so glad that you enjoyed the podcast. You're recovering from 2 full days of gardening. I wish you a speedy recovery. No, I've taken I'm so sore today from the judo, and I've taken 2 rounds of ibuprofen. I can't take another round, or else I'll be taking over the dosage, and I'm still sore all over. It's like nothing is helping. Anybody has any tips? The best heat rub? Please do let a girl know. Oh, girl, it's a 4-year reign is another prediction out there. Okay. All right. Rahini, I'm going to give you the last word of the day. Stay hydrated, folks. Yes, yes, yes. Wishing you all a wonderful weekend. I will do a short podcast tomorrow if there's any updates. And there's a couple of things I wanted to go through today, but I feel like you all have really made the podcast today, and there's nothing else that I need to say for today. And thank you so much. Let's all pray, not just for Harry and Meghan, but for ourselves, because if this court case is won, it changes a lot for the average person in the United Kingdom. It could be the beginning of us actually taking control of the press and having an impartial and fair press. So let's pray that Harry and Elton John and all the claimants coming forward win, but that they win for us as well, because this is so much bigger than just them. All right, that's all, my lovelies. See you tomorrow. Ciao.
I used to spend my evenings by myself, went through every number on my telephone. I thought that all I needed was someone to hold, but I was wrong. I never thought that maybe I needed a friend.
All right, today we're going to talk about how we can find out and how much we can find out and what it takes to get there. So first we have to decide how much do we want to find out. So let's say in this case, I want to find out at a level of 7. Okay, so I find that level on my graph and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down to where it intersects with my fuck around line. That there is going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out. So I hope this lesson is helpful. Thank you.